guys, as you can see, we just removed the loader from the 4020, and I will give the reasons here in a moment. 4020 needs to go in the shop this winter, and the hydraulics, the valves on these early 4020s, early 20 series up here above this exhaust manifold, and it's developed a leak over the last 2 years. And I'm going to pull it in the shop this winter so I can get the hood off and see if I can't fix that leak. I don't know if you guys can pick it up on there or not, but all the way around that head gasket and all the way down the side of the block is all wet from it. I don't know if you guys can really tell the discoloration, the exhaust manifold there, from it dripping on all the time. Starter's covered in oil. Well, the other problem I'm having now all of a sudden is my battery isn't holding a charge, and I'm not for sure if one of these wires is bad from all the oil leaking on it, or I know my key switch is getting bad. Once in a while when you turn the key on, your dummy light for the oil pressure comes on like it's supposed to, and as soon as you hit the starter button, it kicks out. So I know the key switch is getting bad. So I don't really know if it's the key switch, or if the battery isn't holding a charge, or if one of these wires has got a short in it somewhere, or just what. And as you can see, I need to make a battery box for it. I got rid of the junk John Deere boxes that were underneath there. My plan is to make a box coming off the loader bracket and then over to the step. I'm going to build a box. I'm going to bolt it to these two. That way I can unbolt it if I have to. And this piece right here, that's for a toolbox that I used to have that wrote on there. But anyway, so I need to get in there and figure out what's going on here. If that battery is junk, it's a Fleet Farm special, or if there's a bad wire, or what it is. Build a battery box, fix that hydraulic leak, and I want to order these screens this winter and replace them. I'm missing this one. The other one on the other side is a little tweak, so I'd like to just order 2 new ones. And then he needs some front end work. This spindle here is bad. I don't know if it's a spindle or if it's a steering arm. One of them's bad. There's a lot of slop in it. And I don't want to replace the tie rod ends at the same time. Fix those up, and then I want to redo my lights in the front here. I want to take these off and build a better light bar, and then get some LED lights for the front of them. And I am planning on putting the cab back on, which you guys have seen the cab sitting out there. Now that the Hornets are done flying around, I'm going to get it in the shop and tear the heating box apart on it, get the mouse nest cleaned out of it that's in there, get the fan motors pulled out, get them oiled, and get that all fixed up so I can at least have heat in here if I have to. And then I'm going to have a shut-off valve on there, so during the summer I can just have the fan blow. I am missing the back window for that cab. I'd like to find one, but for right now the biggest thing is is just trying to be out of the sun. But yeah, it takes about 10 minutes to take the loader off and about 10 minutes to put it back on. It would be nice if it was just a pin that you pulled out on each side to get it off, but that's not the case. But I tell you, this loader is a heck of a lot better than the Great Bend loader that was on it when I bought the tractor. Actually, that Great Bend loader wasn't on it. The tractor I bought without a loader. I found the Great Bend loader and put it on there. And the Quaker 500 that I just took off came on my 4430 when I bought it, and I took that off the 4430 and put on here. And then I sold the Great Bend loader that was on here. And since the 4430 is gone, the 4440 is gone, the 4030 is gone, the 3010 is gone. What else have I had? I had a 560 with a turbo, International. Had a 504 roll crop. I've had a few tractors in the day, but this is one tractor I don't think I'd ever part with. Easy to work on. He's a cheap running little turd. I mean, I put the turbo on him the second year I owned him, because back then he was the biggest tractor. It was before I bought the 4440, before I bought the 4430. He was a big tractor back then. So anyways, yeah, that's taking the loader off. So the loader is not on my way this winter when I want to work on the other stuff. It would have made more sense to leave the loader on to change that spindle. But it only takes 10 minutes to put the loader back on, and I want to get everything else done first. Because if I run out of money, the steering is the least of my worries at this point. I got to get the other stuff fixed first. And then once I get to doing that, maybe I'll put the loader back on so I can use the loader to pick the front end up off the ground. But that's kind of what's going on with the 4020. He needs to go in the shop and get some stuff looked at and worked on, and change that key switch, whatever. Just might as well just change it. It's acting up. And then I want to put oil pressure gauge in them instead of the idiot light. And I don't know, grab my flashlight so I can shine some light on the subject here. As you can see, my oil pressure sender has a leak, so I'm just going to change him and put a actual oil pressure gauge in it, being it's leaking anyways. So get rid of that, run a hard line up, and then put a gauge. I'll cut a hole in up in here somewhere in the dash, in the console, put an actual gauge in there, and I might do an amp gauge in there too, just to keep an eye on the battery to make sure it's charging. But when I started on the alternator, it's putting out 15.1 volts, so it's not really that the alternator is not charging. I just wonder if that key switch isn't bad, and once it vibrates enough, it quits sending juice to the alternator to energize it. But this 4020 is kind of a wiring nightmare. And then I want to get the fuel gauge working on them too. This used to be a 24 volt system, and I switched over to 12 volt, and I put a high torque starter on it that I ordered from Shoop. Either I ordered from Shoop or I ordered from Abilene, one or the other. But I switched over to that 12 volt, and I'm pretty sure that the sending unit for the fuel is probably 24. I'm not sure if there's a difference, but I may have to change the sending unit in the fuel tank, and I'm not sure if I'll have to change the gauge, but I do want to get that working. It's never worked since I bought it, so I'd like to get that working. Like I say, get the cab on it, and then I'm going to be looking for a seat that I wish I would have kept out of my 4030. That seat that's on the 4020 come from my 4030. And I had robbed a seat out of a swather they were parting out that had the nice drop down armrest, same as like a 4430 or 4440, and I put it in that 4030. Well, now I wish I would have kept that seat and put it on here, because I can't not stand these vinyl seats. I like that cloth seat better. So I need to try and find a seat once I put the cab back on. So yeah, I am planning on putting the cab back on it. Yeah, just to try and be out of the sun a little bit. Nothing else. I'll either open up all the windows on the cab or take the windows out altogether and make it more like a canopy with a roll bar. But the sun is what gets to me, so try and get that cab put back on to fix that. But anyways, yeah, that's taking a loader off the 4020. Doesn't take much, and it seems kind of weird to be taking a loader off this time of year because the snow is coming, but if for some reason the skid loader were to fail, like I say, it only takes 10 minutes to put the loader back on. So that's why I took it off. Try and get some stuff done to them this winter in the shop. And with the loader off, you won't take up as much room in there. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. Stay tuned for more, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.